Rattler Vlog, episode 39, Andre Arsenault. And we are live. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out tonight. It's Kim. And we have got volleyball coming up tonight. Hope you guys had an awesome day. Halfway to the weekend, a little more than that now, so that's exciting. August the 12th. You know, it is so weird how, for a lot of us, it has been such a boring year, spending so much time at home and just kind of doing things that, I mean, we probably should have had a chance to get to before, right? All that yard work and all the stuff that we've been putting off for a long time. But for as boring as it's been, it has just flown by. It's amazing. Let's get Andre. Andre Arsenault.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good.
Good. Good. Where are you at right now? It looks like you're like at the same. Hang on a sec here. Let me just
Go
like
around the corner, let's check, yeah.
our vinyl siding is almost identical.
Yeah, I'm just in I just moved into my new place here in Lethbridge.
All
So,
right. Now, what is this I hear about you being a bit of a traitor these days? Is that true? Like something about the Kodiaks? Like I've heard things, but I don't know if I like them.
the
Give us an
rumors are
update.
true. Yeah, the rumors are true. But it's all in a good heart space. Greg, who is actually the coach of the Kodiaks, the head coach, he was my grade 10 volleyball coach,
Hmm.
and grade 11. So part of my volleyball career is dedicated to him. And he reached out to me in the summer and asked if I'd be interested in being his right-hand man. And I said I couldn't really turn that down. So
Good for you.
yeah, it's really
So,
exciting.
what is your role going to be then on the coaching staff? Are you going to kind of be the libero coach, or what's your thing?
Hopefully, I hope that'd be probably the best place to be. I talked to Greg with it. I would say my two specialties in coaching are working with setters and working with liberos. And Greg definitely wants me to spend a lot of time in those positions. And uh, depending on at game time, what he wants me to do, that might change maybe with stats, maybe just watching, serving targets, all that jazz. But I think primarily setters and liberos will be my bread and butter.
Yep. Do most volleyball coaches these days do they tell the server where to put the ball, or do a lot of coaches just kind of trust the player to know where the holes are going to be?
It's a mix. I think a lot of times most teams will watch a video and you'll kind of create a game plan. And if something differs from that game plan that we set at the beginning of the game or beginning of the match, usually coaches can then signal the servers to then switch it up. Or if we see something going on their side that is an easy exploitation to earn a couple points, why not take advantage of it? So I would say, yeah, a little bit of both. But obviously, some servers, you don't want to touch them. You just want to free them up. I know back when I played, Fraser Smith was one of those people, one of our outsides during the time, and he would miss probably 50% of the time, but half the other 50%, it was an ace. So you just wanted him to let him do his thing. So
Hmm. I've noticed that in volleyball, much like in basketball, when a player steps to the line for those foul shots, it's all about having that routine and having that exact rhythm every single time. Is that true?
yeah, yeah. A lot of coaches actually teach that at a young age. Practice makes permanent, and so going back to line, it's kind of you're getting into your own headspace. Yeah, you think like watching basketball, how many times you think people have practiced that free throw and yet they still miss, or same thing
Hmm.
with serving. And it's the one time where you have complete control of the game and it's just you. And I think having that kind of mental crutch or that mental component where you've done it before, you've repped it many, many times, that routine comes in handy for consistency.
And so many different serving styles as well, right? Like some players will bounce it a couple times and then practically throw it up to the roof. And then others will just in one single motion, right? I mean, it's all just what you've learned and what you develop a comfort in, right?
Yeah, it's all feel based.
Okay. Good, good, good. So have you always been a libero or how, like, talk a little bit about your progression in the sport, starting with like your very first elementary or house league team.
I started in grade 7 at a little school in Edmonton called Ellerslie, and I think I got taken as a libero actually in grade 7. But I think libero in the junior high team is kind of a position you fill when they just don't really know where you fit yet,
Yeah.
which was fair. I rocked it, and then grade 8 I played middle. In grade 9 I played outside, so I was an outside attacker, and then grade 10 I kind of just stayed within that niche. So I was an outside attacker for most of my career. I made that opportunity to switch in my grade 12 year when I was being recruited, because there are guys who are just simply bigger than me who could put the ball down harder, better, faster, but there weren't a lot of guys who could pass better than I could.
Mm-hmm.
And so having that, understanding my role within that, the libero just became a natural choice for that. So.
Gotcha. I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but have you ever played a volleyball game using the old rules?
Uh,
Up to 15,
which one?
up to a score up to 15, and you only get a point if you are serving. Otherwise,
We
otherwise you lose the serve and the other team gets it. I mean, far less points scored that way. And quite
Yeah,
frankly, I like these rules now better. Have you ever
yeah,
tried
it's a
the
little
old
bit better.
rules?
Sometimes like I've coached a bunch of summer camps, and we have like a throwback Thursday type vibe where we'll bring in some old rules that used to exist. So one of those obviously is you can only earn a point if you're serving. Quick games to 15, we've done that as well. We've also done some where positions weren't really set in place. You kind of play where you stand, and you kind of had to play multiple positions within one rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Because back then there wasn't really that specialization that took place either. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Greg says, happy to have such a wonderful addition to our team and program. Looking forward to watching Andre grow in many ways in the future. Well, that's nice. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. I
So
paid him
as
to say that. No, I'm just
okay,
kidding.
well, so as an assistant, then is one of your roles to be kind of that liaison between the player and the head coach? I mean, what kind of head coach are we talking about here? Is he kind of a disciplinarian? Is he that guy that you want to have that distance between you and your head coach, and you're kind of the guy between? Is that you?
I think that role, that liaison between team and coach, is more of a captain position, because you want someone who's in it with the team, but you also want someone who has that connection with the coaches. Assistant coach role, I would say I'm more of the, and I think this Greg is very similar to Steve in this way. Steve Russell, when I played at Medicine Hat College, was basically just kind of offering perspective. And I think Greg, the way he coaches and the way Steve coached, is very much just allowing the kids to be the best versions of themselves while getting better at the sport. And so when it comes to like those hard choice decisions, anyone who has to make that last minute sub or call that timeout or maybe try to let it play, I think assistant coach's job is to kind of be that soundboard back and forth with that head coach, and to help make those tough decisions in those moments.
Got you. I always kind of got the impression, and maybe you can either say absolutely not or agree with me in that way, but I always got the impression, I mean, there's so many different styles of coaches, but it seemed to me that Steve was the psychological coach. He was kind of the coach that would get into your brains and he would implant that thing that would kind of teach you to succeed in that way. Is that the kind of coach he was, or maybe he was a technical coach? So
Steve
many
was
different guys.
both,
Okay.
honestly. Steve, I can't thank Steve enough for what he's done for me, and I'm sure a lot of players could even speak the same. But he definitely had the technical component. He rewired a lot of the bad habits that I had. But more importantly, I would say, yeah, one of his definite attributes was him being able to be that psychological voice of reason. So he was always, I know I played this one game against Sates, and it's still stuck in my head. I played terrible in the first set, absolutely terrible. And we had a rule that if you passed below a 2.2, it's out of 3. So as a libero, if you passed below 2.2, you had to switch jerseys with the other libero. So then the other libero could go in because you didn't do your job. And I remember I passed, I think, 0.58, which is terrible. Like, this is terrible. Basically giving away points to Sate. And he just looked at me, he's like, keep your jersey on. He's like, because I believe in you. And that's all it took was those few words. And I went back in and then passed a 3. The other libero wasn't too happy at the time, but
He's like, "Where's the fairness here?
yeah,
This is
but it
bullcrap."
was, yeah, but he definitely, but he wouldn't have been able to do that, to have those few words mean that much without being that coach who's built that and planted those seeds early on in the season. So yeah, I would agree with you actually.
So what are we hearing from the ACAC regarding a back to court plan that you're hearing about, or is this all just so much in the air and we're kind of leaving it up to the health authorities? What are we hearing?
It's the best time to start a season. But
I
no, we
agree.
are we are we are going to train. Most teams are. I think the ACAC agreed we'll have a January start. What that exactly looks like in terms of cohorts and that kind of stuff, I'm not quite sure. They might maybe I imagine they might divide this out into maybe teams of 3 and 4, depending if schools still run their programs. I know a couple of northern teams have already pulled some of their programs, and so I'm not sure what that would look like. But yeah, January start for sure. But we'll be training like every other team is, and maybe hopefully, because 4 months of just strictly training is a long time to train without any competition.
Oh, so boring.
Exactly. So
I wonder if there are any slight modifications you can make that might make it safer. No handshakes,
yeah.
after the game, or like I don't even know what you could possibly do, because to me volleyball doesn't seem like a high risk sport. I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, every sport kind of has its moments where you could look at it and go, oh, maybe that's one of those moments. Volleyball, we are touching the same ball, and it's all with our hands, and
Hmm.
the virus is spread through droplets on our hands. So if we're not constantly contacting, then
Sure,
uh,
you got guys that lick their
yeah,
hand and then they touch their feet, and like
exactly,
there's bodily
yeah.
fluids everywhere.
Yeah, 100%. So there's that. Yes, handshaking can be minimized, but then it also takes away like that sportsmanship factor. And if that you don't want to hate the opponent even more than you do, you do want to have be civil up by the end of the night. That's for sure. But and the I think the biggest thing though, especially being part of the Rattler community in the past, is the fans.
Yeah.
It's hard to play without those stands being packed, and they play an integral role in every match. And once a Rattler, always a Rattler, whether you're a student or a student athlete. You're
I'm
always a part of those athletics programs. So,
I'm glad you said that.
yeah.
But don't think that the Rattler fans aren't going to give you a hard time, though, because they will.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, they will. Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what else is going on in your life, because you're starting a new career this fall too, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
I am. Yes. I actually just finished my ed degree. It's been a long time coming. It's a 5-year degree. It took a really long time for me. Mostly because I transferred schools twice. So after I was playing at Medicine Hat, I went to MacEwan University, and then I ended up finishing my degree at U of A right after. So I just graduated. Again, shitty time to graduate, I guess you could say. But yeah, so I got a teaching job here in Lethbridge, and it's the perfect pairing to be able to do that while coaching at the college as well. And yeah, I couldn't be any happier. So.
What sorry, what grade are you going to be teaching?
I'm teaching grade 8 and math and science
Okay.
here. Yeah, it's going to be a blast. And it's interesting because my degree is in elementary education, and that's something I've been passionate about, is the little ones. But I like the age group, the junior high age group, which not a lot of teachers can say.
Hmm.
It's that high hormone, demanding but also independent type of feel. But I think it'll be a great fit. I've coached that age for many years, and it'll be a
And
good.
and this year, so much more than just education, right? There's like health protocols and whatnot that are going to be coming into it as well. I know. Last week when the word came down that students in Alberta would be wearing masks above grade 4, I told my teenage sons that, and they just looked at me and said, "Dad, good luck, good
Yeah.
luck with that." You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
it's
so,
it's
like,
gonna be tough. Yeah,
yeah,
I always said, and my principal agreed. It's the first year teaching in a pandemic for all of us. So for me, I don't have any preconceived misconceptions of what it would look like before. To me, it's just strictly pandemic. Where so I don't have that the past kind of lingering and being like, oh, it used to be like this.
yeah.
So At least I
So
can say in my lifetime that I got to teach during one of these. So,
hey, teach during history, right? Like this era is going to be something that people are going to be reading about
mhm.
and studying for decades or centuries to come,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
absolutely.
this to be living at this moment in time. I mean, you could look at it a couple of ways. You could be scared, you could be anxious, you could be filled with anxiety or whatever, or you could just think, you know, we're in history right now. This is pretty interesting. So,
Yeah.
yeah, wow. Well, it's going to be quite the time for you. Congratulations. Okay, so here's the thing with my boys. Like I said, they're not excited to wear masks, and they're
Hmm.
not really. I mean, they know that they have to. They know that they have to, and so to make it a little bit more palatable for them, we went on to Amazon, and we ordered. Like I don't know, have you been watching baseball at all over the past couple of weeks?
I haven't. I've been so focused on moving and
You
settling
know,
in the classroom.
You know that stretchy, like Under Armour type
Yeah,
material, right? Like a lot of the Major League Baseball players, it's like a neck thing there, and then they just kind of pull it
pull
up,
it up. Yeah.
and it's comfortable. It's not like it doesn't look like a medical mask at all, but it covers the face and whatnot, right? And so I said, okay, would that be something that you guys would wear? And so they're looking at all the ones online there, and there's like ones with like Joker faces and stuff like that. Like there are some really cool looking mask things like that.
Hmm. There's a lot of good ones out there.
And so, they saw those, and I think they're a bit more excited now. I mean, they're checking the mailbox every day, hoping that it arrives so they can wear it all the time. And so, maybe that's the thing to really get the young people to buy into it is find a way to make it fun, I guess, you know?
Yeah, our principal at our school ordered these custom ones with the school logo, and they have those ones that you're talking about, and they have the other ones that you could wrap around the ear. So I think also just giving the students a choice as well will help show them. And if everyone's wearing them, it's kind of easier to get them to wear them. It's if you're the odd one out who's wearing them and chooses not to.
Exactly. All right. Somebody in the comments there said, I forget where it is. He said, "Whoa, I heard this guy has some volleyball records."
Oh,
Okay, well let me go over that right now. During his 2 years in Medicine at College, Andre was a team captain of the men's team. He excelled academically athletically and academically, two-time ACAC All-Conference, two-time ACAC academic athlete, two-time CCAA academic All-Canadian, two-time CCAA National Scholar. I've never even heard of that award, but it sounds like a big deal.
it's a piece of paper. Yes,
Okay.
but
Rookie of the Year nominee, recipient of the Brett Bell Award, which is quite the honor. You must admit that, right?
it was absolutely.
And the Rattler Appreciation Award. So, yeah, he's got a few awards in that closet there. Where do you keep the medals? Are they at the parents' place in the attic somewhere, or is it something that you do kind of show off?
I keep them in my bedroom. A lot of people say I should leave them in the living room, keep it as a storyteller when guests come over, but I think it's something personal. I'm not one to brag, and to me, I was just doing my role. I was doing my role on the court and doing my role off the court as a student athlete, and I was just happy to be recognized in doing that. At the end of the day, they do mean a lot to me. They're motivators for sure. I know the last semester where the pandemic just hit, we got booted. All of our education classes got booted online, and it was tough. And I remember just looking over at those and being like, if I can do that in 2 years, I can do this in
Hmm.
2 months. So they're definitely still motivated, and I have them here with me as well. They're just still in a box. So
Well, with that, let's go to our show and tell segment.
okay.
I don't know what you had planned there, whether it is some of the medals and awards or if you've got something totally
No.
different. But the thing is, it has to be weird or quirky or just deeply sentimental. So we turn it
Okay.
over to you.
Okay. It's a little bit of all of those things. A quick background story about it. Former teammate Alfred Delavic, who played, he's from Sweden.
Hmm.
And I was kind of that liaison between coach and player with him being a team captain, and I was kind of getting him all comfortable with his trip coming down from Sweden to come and play for the Rattlers. And he got to stay at my place for a couple weeks while we set him up with school and finding a place. And he actually brought me this horse. It's called a Dala horse. They're made in Sweden, but the cool thing about it is that they are completely unique. So it's very intricate painting. They're all painted and carved by hand. And he brought it all the way from Sweden. I think it's for good luck, or I'm not really quite sure. But I have, it stands on my nightstand every night and reminds me of the Rattler days, but also the importance of community, even in an international way. How there's something so simple as this. Every Swedish person knows exactly what this is if you were to ask them. But to us, it just looks like this weird red horse. So
sorry, what is it? What is it called? Because I mean, every time I go to Calgary, my wife has to go to IKEA, and there's always some weird name. It's a Flugen or something.
Yeah. It's called a Dala horse. That's the English name for it. I think in Swedish it's called a Dalahast, Dalahast. But yeah, he called it something different. I think he called it by its full name, not maybe it's like shortened name.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a thoughtful gift, and yeah, I keep it on my nightstand.
And for any of the kids watching, it does not take batteries. Just so you know,
Nope.
there's no USB port in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Once again, Andre Arsenault joining us right now. Thank you for 2 incredible years at Medicine Hat College. Congratulations on the rest of your youth sport career as well, and of course now your teaching career. And again, we just want to express our thank you to you. And heading into this fall, we want to send just all of our wishes of safety and just good vibes to your way and to all of your students as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and best of luck with you guys as well. I'll be watching again across the net if we end up playing against each other.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see you soon at the Snape Pit. You know we will. And it won't be quite as friendly either, but that's okay too. Real quick, give us a suggestion on who we should get on an upcoming Rattler vlog. It could be a teammate. It could be one of the girls on the girls' team. It could be anybody associated with the Rattlers. As long as you think that they're interesting and you'd watch it, who do you think?
I think someone who would be really great is Nicole Cooper. She was one of the on the women's volleyball team, and she was the team captain. A lot of people said her and I were like the same person on the male and the men and women's team. She's also teaching, and she just won a very prestigious award for all of the work she's done as a teacher, and I think it'd be good to connect to see what she's doing. All right.
Can you do us a favor and send us her Instagram link? In the DMs, that'd be awesome.
She'll probably hate me for doing that, but I'll
all right.
Throw her under the bus.
All the best. Have a great rest of your summer.
Thank you.
There you go.